Hello, Earth neighbors. Welcome to the Crimisphere, a space to discuss crime and criminal behavior. The way I like to imagine the Crimisphere is that we are like neighbors, Earth neighbors, having an ordinary day until something happens. The police arrived, and the neighbors are gathered around the crime scene tape at the edge of property lines, trying to figure out what happened. Who knows something? Stay tuned until the end to learn what we know so far. Hello, Earth neighbors. Welcome back to the Crimisphere. In today's video, we are going to talk about the Sade Robinson case. This is one of a 19-year-old teen. That's the shocking part. This is just a child. At least to me, this is a child that has been unalived, allegedly, by a 33-year-old bartender, ex-bartender, maybe that's more appropriate to say. And I'm surprised that, no, I shouldn't say surprised. Let's just say, here we go again with a story that was not worthy of more coverage, but definitely should be discussed more. There's an aspect to it that I think is something that, anybody with a teenager, anybody who's dating, there's something in this for everyone to kind of heed the warning about stranger danger. There's no other way to say it. We don't know who's out here with us in this Crimisphere. And the saddest part is the depraved nature of this case. It was so unnecessary, so disrespectful to the family, to us as Earth neighbors. So just to give you an overview, as you know, my videos are long form videos. So I'm the type that like to listen to long videos while I'm typing away at work, maybe cleaning, maybe doing laundry. So this is definitely going to be another one where we dig into, I want to take a look at the news reports as the story developed. We'll look at a few of those. I want to dig into something that is so revealing, which is the 10-page complaint filed with the Circuit Court of Milwaukee County, which is, where this crime happened. We're going to hear from the victim's mother. She had very strong words, or maybe you can say it's a message, in regards to the accused, the defendant in this case. I've never heard anyone speak so raw and candid. Raw emotion. I'll share my thoughts on the case. And then, per usual, we'll take a visit to the Comments Café. Let's get into it.
Tonight, investigators searching for clues in Milwaukee's Walnut Hill neighborhood. That is where someone found a human body part late last night. The family of a missing Milwaukee woman joining the search today, uncovering a new piece of evidence. 12 News reporter Emily Pofall on what they found.
Milwaukee police swarming 31st and Walnut early Saturday morning, searching after someone found a human body part in the park. It's a block away from 30th and Lisbon, where witnesses say MPD and the sheriff's office were investigating a car fire earlier this week.
It looks like somebody had started it. Nothing else was smoking outside the car, so it started in the inside.
The car fire connected to a missing persons case. Family members of 19-year-old Sade, Carleena Robinson tell 12 News her car was found burnt in an alley there Tuesday.
She's scheduled to graduate next month. Her birthday is May the 10th. Sade Sheena, that's my baby.
Milwaukee police officers investigating again at 31st and Walnut Saturday night after family says new evidence might have been found in the missing persons case. After hearing about the body part in the park, Robinson's family and friends conducted a search of their own, eventually finding this blanket that family says belongs to Robinson in the same area the body part was found.
We need y'all's support to help and find more evidence. Thanks to these people out here, we found a little bit more evidence, but we still don't know everything.
Milwaukee police have not connected Robinson's missing persons case to the body part found, but friends and family are fearing the worst.
You have to prepare for the worst and pray for the best. And worst case scenario, Sade's not with us no more. And right now, I just want justice for the person that did this to her, because no human deserves to have parts found in different parts of Wisconsin like this.
In Milwaukee, Emily Pofall, WISN 12 News.
This is the second body part found in Milwaukee County this week. On Tuesday, someone found a severed leg along Lake Michigan in Cudahy. Investigators then searched a home near 39th in Oklahoma for more than 24 hours, calling it a homicide case. Surveillance video shows the moment police got to the home late Thursday afternoon. Investigators were in and out of the house yesterday. Deputies did arrest a person of interest Thursday. They did not say if the two body parts are linked or if they're linked to Robinson's missing person case.
I'd like to start just by, doing a little bit of a disclaimer, but also putting some perspective on this, which is the defendant in this case should be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We support due process over here in the Crimisphere. So it's not a perfect system. We all know that, but it's what we have. So please be respectful of all family members, whether we're speaking of the victim's family or the family of the defendant. I think we can agree that both families are hurting, and no normal person would wake up wanting to be thrown in such a scandalous, evil, and depraved situation. So let's be good and compassionate earth neighbors in this community we're building over here. And let's keep the conversation amongst us who are, let's say concerned earth neighbors who want to see what's going on with this story, just want to know what happened. That's what we're going to talk about. So I just ask for that type of compassion in our community as we build it, but also because we have to talk. Like, this is such a shocking story. Like, it reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer, if anybody remembers that, and I mean, there was no eating of flesh, but that we know of, but it does give me the impression that, do we have a serial killer? Like, that was the question that came to mind for me. And we'll dig into it more and see what we think. And we'll also hear what the police have to say in response to that question. It's a very valid question. Like, how often are we confronted with finding that someone has been dismembered and the body parts are tossed about the city? It's crazy. Okay, so I have a little bit of an outline here, so bear with me. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping and just ask. I'll remind everybody the best way to support the channel is to like this video and subscribe. If you want to help even more and be the first to hear what I upload, when I upload new videos, please click the bell icon. That too helps. So many thanks in advance. All right, so let's just start by introducing the case.
Tonight, police scouring a park and nearby railroad tracks near 31st and Carleena after finding body parts in the area Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 12 News' Matt Salemi over the scene early Monday morning.
We're told that this is an area where human remains were found earlier over the weekend.
It's a block away from where police found the car of missing 19-year-old Sade Carleena Robinson, burnt in an alley. Robinson has been missing since last Monday. Her family tells 12 News they also found her blanket in this area near the discovery of one of the body parts.
We need y'all's support to help and find more evidence. Thanks to these people out here, we found a little bit more evidence, but we still don't know everything.
Neighbors in the area are in shock.
When I saw you guys, I said, uh-oh, did they find something else? And that's when you confirmed they did.
Your reaction to the fact that they found more?
It's unnerving. We all hope as a community that nobody's crazy enough to do something around here.
The gruesome weekend discoveries come after someone found a severed leg here in Warnemount Park in Cudahy last Tuesday. Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputies searched this home near 39th and Oklahoma Friday related to that case. They took a person of interest into custody. 12 News Investigates confirms that person is the homeowner. We are not naming him because he hasn't been charged. With more questions than answers, Robinson's family fears connecting the dots may reveal the worst.
You have to prepare for the worst and pray for the best. And worst case scenario, Sade's not with us no more. And right now, I just want justice for the person that did this to her.
James, the person of interest in the case of the leg discovery in Cudahy may be in court as early as tomorrow.
And we've confirmed that through sources, Patrick, that homeowner could be in court tomorrow near 39th in Oklahoma. Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputies say they're working closely with the Milwaukee Police Department, have not made the connection between Cudahy and this park here quite yet. Of course, they say they're working closely with Milwaukee Police, also asking anyone with credible information to call the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office and the Milwaukee County Police Department.
That investigation continues. James Stratton reporting in Milwaukee tonight.
Before we get into speaking about the 10-page complaint against the accused, the defendant, whose name is Maxwell Stephen Anderson, we know from the complaint there's a birthday of 11/26/1990. He's a male, Caucasian. And from news reports, we understand that he is the owner of the home that's referenced in the 3100 block of South 39th Street, which is where police believe that Sade Robinson was murdered and possibly dismembered there. Okay, so here's one of the things that I want to talk about, because I think that these type of cases, they serve as just reminders that these type of people, these type of quote unquote, because I heard someone else say it in one of the news stories, monsters. I do have to agree with that reference if he actually did what he's being accused of. This is the thing that nightmares are made of, which is anybody watch Braxton Family Matters, that show with Toni Braxton, her sisters, Tamar, all of them. They used to make, it wasn't really a joke as much as making light of letting people know when you're going out with a stranger, so that they would say on the show, in case somebody, chops you up into 52 pieces, because it'll be your family who's, going around looking for your 52 pieces. They used to make a joke like that about basically stranger danger and being safe when you're dating and out here in these streets, right? And this unfortunate case and situation reminds us of those things. That's why I'm saying that it serves as a warning. And I'll talk about this a little bit more later, which is I've heard some discussions, of course there are people, and I'll talk about that probably at the Comments Café, which is some of those people that crawl out of the woodworks around these kind of cases and run with the easiest narratives. But then there are also very real discussions or warnings or signposts of what not to do in life. And we'll get into that a little bit. But I want to talk about his history. So in looking at, and mind you, this is all public records. I'm not talking about anything that isn't available to anybody who has a computer and knows how to go into the circuit court records and look up a person, which I hope everybody learns how to do. And maybe I should do a tutorial on that, because I feel like that would be a way of being of service, like a PSA, a public service announcement, or maybe a public service tutorial on how to look somebody up. And I think I'm going to put that on my to-do list. Seriously, that's not even funny. I'm serious when I say that. Because that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, which is how we can keep ourselves safe, maybe. And I say maybe because I don't think that the killer announces themselves as the killer, or the unaliver, or whatever you want to call them. Maybe I should call them the thriller, because it is like a terrible movie. This stuff seems unreal. I don't know about you guys, but it feels unreal, and sad, unspeakable sadness. To have a family member murdered is a type of helplessness / anger / desire for revenge, desire to let me get my hands on him, let us get our justice. I understand, or I can imagine that type of rage, that type of not even know what to do with that kind of pain and hurt. You know, it seems like such an unfair, and you can't get to them, you know. But anyway, I do believe in due process, though. So right now, like I said, I will remind everybody that this person is innocent until proven guilty. So these are all alleged and accusations. So at this point, but let's talk about his past, the things that he was definitely found either pled guilty to, or this has all been, what's the word, adjudicated, like it's done, which is, it dates back to 2014. Some of the news stories reference this past. Like, one of the things that is something to talk about is, were there warning signs? Was there things that perhaps anybody out there dating could have possibly been like, those are red flags? I think there are some. There definitely are some. But all of these are misdemeanors. Yeah, not felonies. So I don't know how we got here, how he went from, being out in the open and free with just misdemeanors in his record to becoming a felon. But I suspect that, that's the reason why I wonder if there are other crimes that he's committed, because it just seems weird. Let's dig into the first case that I see for him, which dates back to 2014, July 11th of 2014. That's the filing date for, it looks like he has some misdemeanors, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, and another disorderly conduct. That's how it reads. So I don't know what this disorderly conduct is. There mental health issues? Is there alcoholism, drug abuse? I suspect something is going on here. How old was he in 2014? I'm terrible at math, so. $24. Okay. So let's look at the next one, which is June 12th of 2015 is the filing date. It looks like we have some operate without carrying a license, ignition, interlock device tampering, failure to install. I don't know what that means. Penalty, ignition, immobile device tampering. Is this related to like one of those DUI devices that they sometimes make people who have problems with alcohol installing their car? I don't know. Or is he trying to steal a car? I don't know what this is. And that's the unfortunate part when you look at and try to be safe and look a person up, is that sometimes they don't give us enough information in these public records that I think the public should know. Look, that's my gripe about that. And then I also thought about how oftentimes when people get lawyers, the lawyers will have these original charges be veiled by lesser charges or, reduced charges because they have sought counsel in an attorney, and attorneys can oftentimes make things go away, especially if you have money to do so, money, influence, power, whatever. And I think that's unfair. I hope that the Robinson family, Sade's family, looks into his background and see if there is a civil lawsuit that should come. And I don't know if that could be against the state if they have hidden this from the public, where Sade and others would not be able to find out if this person is dangerous. I take issue with that in our system where they let people do this. This happens in our legal system where people will, commit a crime that is horrible, and then it ends up being, let's say, veiled under something that doesn't sound as bad. And that's not fair to the public for us not to know what this person is capable of or have done. Anyway, that's just a soapbox for me. But the next one I'm looking at is 2015, June 15th of 2015. Am I looking at the same thing twice? No, that was the 12th, June 12th. Okay, I am looking at different charges. Okay, so I have listed on here, description is disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, more criminal damage to property, intimidate a witness. So we see these are people issues. These are issues with conduct, behavior. He doesn't get along with people. He's showing signs. So a background check will have shown that he is not somebody that I would want to be around. If we were talking about a first date or possibly looking at this person in a romantic setting, no, not even a friend. No. This is definitely a sign. This dates back to 2015. Like I said, again, those signposts and red flags for us as ladies, don't let people like this in. There are some women who are shopping at prisons and jails for, romantic relationships. Let them have them. But for the rest of us who don't want anything to do with that, that's not who we are. That's not what we want in our lives. These are signposts, for us to learn from. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I have some entries from September 12th, 2019 is the filing date for these charges. And we have battery. So this is bad. Battery and disorderly conduct. Guilty due to a guilty plea. And he pled guilty to this. So disorderly conduct and battery. This is definitely more like, you're having people problems. You don't get along with people. Okay. And the last one I'm looking at is from the filing date is January 19th of 2022. And this one, it looks like a criminal offense, a criminal traffic offense, excuse me. Again, more misdemeanors though. Operating with prohibited alcohol concentration, second offense. Operating a motor vehicle while under the influence, second offense. More guilty pleas. So I am just guessing from these, how they say past behavior usually is a great predictor of future behavior, which is, I can see this possibly coming down to him saying, I was drunk, I got upset, things went too far, I got angry, something like that. And now I got to get rid of a body. I heard, and I'll talk about this maybe later, which is some people, digging in or thinking about, I think the police are on that page too. And we'll talk about it more with the complaint. You could tell me what you think after hearing the complaint. But it looks like he just had to get rid of the body after he had unalived her. So that's the past. Those are the red flags. Those are the signposts and warnings, life warnings. Do background checks, guys. If we don't learn anything else from the terrible thing that happened to this young lady, is do background checks. Know who you're going out with. If you can't, and the only information I needed in order to be able to search him up, first name, middle name, last name. When he was born, his birth, DOB, the whole thing, date of birth. And also you need an address. And to be honest, if you don't know these things, because some people are like, oh, you don't know all that information to go on a first date, you shouldn't be going out with him. And if he's not willing to give you that, he probably has something to hide. If you are a legit person, you're going to be working to make the other person comfortable. And especially when you're dealing with a female, a 5'0" female, like she literally is only 5 feet. She's a little bitty person. you know? And how can she defend herself against this full-grown man? Okay? This is one of those things, if I'm on a soapbox, that I think that we are ill prepared when you listen to a lot of feminist rhetoric that I think is more delusional than true to life, which is there is a physical difference, a physical component that men tend to be stronger than women. And if you are going up against this, you know, this is now not the time for you to be in the delusion of anything a man can do, a woman can do better. This is not the moment. This is not the time. And I'm definitely not trying to make this a political conversation, but I just want people to be more realistic about their safety. And don't fall for the delusion of other people hyping you up about, you know, giving you false notions about your safety when you are going up against a bigger opponent, potentially. Right? I'm going to be honest about it. Your safety is at large. It's on the table. It's a possible, you could be with the unaliver. You could be with the person who does this in their pastime. You could end up with the serial unaliver, if you get what I'm saying. So think about your safety. Think about having some means of personal protection. Whatever's legal in your state, look into it. Now is the time. These kind of cases remind us that we need to have multiple personal protection devices on us, on our person, and possibly in your car, whatever is legally, you know, within the means of the law in your state. Look it up, find out what you can and can't do. Okay, let's keep moving along.
Human body parts have been found at least 4 separate times in Milwaukee County in less than a week. And as of right now, authorities have not said if these cases are linked.
The latest findings bring investigators to 31st and Walnut, where people there tell our Bria Jones the developments are frightening.
The medical examiner's office confirming to Fox 6 that it was called here to this area at 31st and Carleena, the same area where detectives found a body part and unidentified human remains.
It's heartbreaking. I don't even have the words for it.
A series of gruesome discoveries in Milwaukee County, leaving many people speechless. Police on 4 separate occasions finding human body parts and remains.
It was real sad, sickening. What kind of monster is that could do that to somebody?
Sunday night, Fox 6 saw investigators searching the railroad tracks near 31st and Walnut. Milwaukee police now telling Fox 6 additional human remains were found at the location. Saturday, detectives were in the same area roping off the Carleena playground after discovering human remains. The night before, police say a body part was found at Lisbon and 30th. And on April 2nd, a severed leg was found in Warnemont Park in Cudahy. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says a homicide investigation was launched there and 1 person was taken into custody.
Just knowing that somebody is out here dismembered is unsettling.
The shocking discovery is coming as the search continues for missing 19-year-old Sade Robinson, who was last seen April 1st. Fox 6 was there when loved ones found her blanket near Carleena Park. Police say Robinson is still considered critical missing, and these cases have not been connected to her disappearance. At this time, investigators have not said if any of these cases are connected. The human remains have yet to be identified. For now, reporting in Milwaukee, Bria Jones, Fox 6 News.
Let's look at the very revealing 10-page complaint and what I ended up doing. So you will have to bear with the mispronunciations at times and odd reading of information on the document because I set it to read aloud, which is just like an auto reader. I figure it's the easiest way for me to get through a 10-page document. I let it read to me, so now I'm going to let it read to you. So for those who definitely like to read along, you'll be able to see it on the screen. And I'll talk to you on the other side of the complaint.
For official use. State of Wisconsin Circuit Court, Milwaukee County. State of Wisconsin Plaintiff versus Anderson, Maxwell S. 3161, South 39th Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53215 DOB, November 26, 1990. Defendants: DA Case No. 2024 ML 009132 Court Case No. Criminal Complaint: the below-named complainant being duly sworn on information and belief states that Count 1, first-degree intentional homicide. The above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, did cause the death of Sade C. Robinson, another human being, with intent to kill that person. Contrary to Sector 940.01, 1A, 939.53A, Wisconsin Stats. Upon conviction for this offense, a Class A felony, the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. Count 2, mutilating a corpse. The above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, did dismember a corpse with the intent to conceal a crime, contrary to Sector 940.11, 1, 939.50, 3F, Wisconsin. Stats. Upon conviction for this offense, a Class F felony, the defendant may be fined not more than $25,000, or imprisoned not more than 12 years and 6 months, or both. Count 3, arson of property other than building. The above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, 1819, North 29th Street, in the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, by means of fire, did intentionally damage the property, other than a building, of Sade C. Robinson, valued at $100 or more, without that person's consent, contrary to Sector 943.03, 939.53I, Wisconsin Stats. Upon conviction for this offense, a Class 1 felony, the defendant may be fined not more than $10,000, or imprisoned not more than 3 years and 6 months, or both. Probable cause. Complainant is a law enforcement officer with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. Complainant bases this complaint on official police reports and statements of members of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, Milwaukee Police Department, and members of the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. Case 2024 CF 001692, Document 2, filed April 12th. 2024, page 1 of 10, filed April 12th. 2024 Anna Maria Hodges, Clerk of Circuit Court, 2024 CF 001692, Honorable Jean Marie Keese, 45, Branch 45. Page 2. Complainant notes the events described below occurred in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. Based on that information, complainant states as follows. Discovery of a severed human leg in Warnemont Park. On Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, around 5:29 p.m., members of law enforcement, including the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office and Cudahy Police Department, responded to Warnemont Park, located at 5400 South Lake Drive, to a report of a human leg located on the beach. First responders were led by the citizen who called police to the leg. Responding deputies located the right leg of what appeared to be a black female. The leg was severed just below the hip socket and appeared to have been sawn off. The toes on the feet had pink nail polish. The leg did not appear to be decomposing. Deputy Leon Martin was one of the first responding sheriff's deputies. Deputy Martin spoke to EM, who discovered the leg. EM stated he was meeting his friend at the park. EM stated he and his friend were walking towards the beach/water and then saw the leg just north of the Warnemont pump house at the shoreline. Deputy Martin reports that the area where the leg was located contains a bluff that is approximately 100 feet tall. The leg was originally found about 2/3 of the way down the bluff, towards the water's edge. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Nathan Spittelmeister searched the area of the park for any cameras that may have captured something related to the discarding of the leg. Detective Spittlemeister located a video from Cudahy High School that shows the parkways nearest to the pump house at the shoreline. The road that leads to the pump house is closed to vehicle traffic by a gate secured with a padlock and chain. The video footage shows, at approximately 2:53 a.m., a vehicle entering the video frame heading eastbound on the parkway towards the road to the pump house. The video shows that vehicle did not make a southbound or northbound turn once reaching the intersection nearest to the service road. The vehicle disappears from the video footage, consistent with the vehicle driving down the road that leads to the pump house. Complainant knows the service road to the pump house would be the furthest that a car could go to get near Lake Michigan in that area. Detective Spittlemeister spoke to Cudahy Police Detective Brian Olson, who informed Detective Spittlemeister that on the morning of April 2nd, 2024, employees of the Cudahy Water Department reported that the service gate had been struck by a vehicle. The damage to the gate was done after the evening of April 1st and before the morning of April 2nd, 2024. This is consistent with when the vehicle is seen on video driving onto that service road. Detective Joseph Blancar from the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office went to the pump house gate and recovered broken pieces of a vehicle that were determined to belong to a Honda Civic. These damaged pieces would be consistent with the vehicle ramming the gate to get through. Detective Spittlemeister also recovered video from the pump house that faces north, in the direction of where the severed leg was recovered. At approximately 3:02 a.m., a human figure can be seen descending the bluff to beach level. This figure appears to make multiple attempts to walk between the beach and the service drive for the pump house. At approximately 4:31 a.m., the vehicle that entered the closed gate leaves and ultimately leaves the park, heading westbound. The leg was recovered and transported to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office and was examined by Dr. Lauren Decker. During the examination, based on the size of the leg, Dr. Decker estimated the height of the person to be approximately 5 feet tall. There were multiple cutting impressions around the amputation point, as well as sharp force trauma to the exposed femur bone. However, the top of the femur bone appeared to have been snapped off. The leg appeared to have been intentionally severed with a sharp instrument, including the bone being sawn halfway through. Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12, 2024, page 2 of 10. Page 3. Sade Robinson reported missing. At approximately 9 p.m. on April 2nd, 2024, a walk-in report was made by AJ at the Milwaukee Police Department District 5 station. AJ reported that her friend, Sade Robinson, had not been returning AJ's calls and had not showed up for work. AJ provided a phone number for Robinson of 414-510-4769 and reported she lived at 1858 N. Commerce Street, apartment 309 in Milwaukee. On April 3rd, 2024, Milwaukee police officer Nora Burlow responded to Robinson's apartment to conduct a welfare check and was not able to make contact with Robinson. AJ further reported to investigators that the last known activity of Robinson was a Snapchat that AJ viewed, showing that Robinson was at Duke's on Water, located at 158 East Juneau Avenue in Milwaukee, on the evening of April 1st, 2024. No further contact had been made with Robinson after that. Upon hearing of the discovery of the leg near Warnemont Park, Officer Burlow contacted the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office to inform them of the report of Robinson being missing as well as the vehicle fire. Complainant knows, through contact that the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office has had with Robinson's family and friends, that Robinson is approximately 5 feet tall. Complainant knows that Robinson's listed height with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation is 5 feet 0 inches. Officer Burlow, as well as Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Joseph Blancar, made contact with employees of Robinson's apartment building, 1858 N. Commerce Street. The apartment's maintenance employee, EF, indicated that he had last seen Robinson on April 1st, 2024. Another employee, building secretary Sade, reported that she would frequently see and speak with Robinson, and Robinson told Sade she was excited for a date she had the evening of April 1st. Detective Joseph Blancar also reviewed video surveillance footage from the apartment building at 1858 N. Commerce Street and said footage depicts Robinson leaving the building around 9 a.m. on April 1, 2024. Robinson is wearing a black puffy coat, a white shirt, light-colored blue jeans with multiple tiers in front, and white shoes. Discovery of Robinson's 2020 Honda Civic. Furthermore, on April 2, 2024 at approximately 7:32 a.m., members of the Milwaukee Fire Department responded to 1819 North 29th Street, the area of West Lisbon Avenue and North 29th Street, for a vehicle fire. First responders located a 2020 Honda Civic with Wisconsin registration ASP 1171. The vehicle had sustained extreme fire damage, completely damaging the interior of the Civic. A check of that vehicle registration revealed that vehicle belonged to Robinson. Items of Robinson's were discovered in the vehicle, as will be described later in this complaint. Complainant states, on information and belief, that this vehicle is worth more than $100. Robinson's phone records. In response to the discovery of the human leg at Warnemont Park, as well as the similar timing of Robinson being reported missing, as well as the arson of Robinson's vehicle, Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Matthew Vanderdyke obtained records from Verizon Wireless, the servicer for the number belonging to Robinson, 414-510-4769. It should be noted that AJ, as well as family members of Robinson, confirmed that number belonged to her. Detective Vanderdyke reports that records were received from Verizon that included call detail records, location records, as well as recent text message content. Upon review of the text message content, Detective Vanderdyke located a text conversation between Robinson and the telephone number 262-416-4874. This was the last text message conversation in the records that contained outgoing messages from Robinson. The Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12, 2024, page 3 of 10. Page 4. Conversation occurred between approximately 4:15 p.m. and 5:18 p.m. on April 1, 2024, and reads as follows. Sender message 414-510-4769. Where are we meeting? For 510-4769, I can do 5. 262 for 487 for downtown somewhere. For 510-4769, okay. 262 487 for Brat House on 3rd. For 510-4769, perfect. 262 487 for, okay, I'm going to shower quick. It'll probably get there more around 515. 262 487 for, are you hungry? Need to stop at Twisted Fisherman to pick up my W-2 from last year, and we could eat there first. For 510-4769, okay, and yes. For 510-4769, are we eating at the Brat House or the other place? 262 487 for, let's eat at Twisted and Feeling Seafood. For 510-4769, yes, I love seafood. 262 487 for, sounds good, I'm about to leave, I'll be there soon. For 510-4769, /0 equals M/0. 262 487 for, just got to Twisted. For 510-4769, okay, are you inside? 262 487 for, yes. Detective Vanderdyke searched law enforcement databases, which showed an association between 262-416-5874 and Maxwell S. Anderson, the above-named defendant. Furthermore, upon checking Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office booking records, The defendant provided that phone number to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office during a booking process in April 2023. Investigators then checked Wisconsin Department of Transportation records, which revealed the defendant's listed address is 3161 South 39th Street in the city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective John Guillot responded to Twisted Fisherman, located at 1200 West Canal Street in Milwaukee, to attempt to determine if Robinson went to that location. Detective Guillot recovered surveillance video from Twisted Fisherman. Complainant has reviewed that video as well and has also reviewed booking photos of the defendant as well as photographs of Sade Robinson. The video shows, in sum, as follows: at approximately 5:09 p.m. on April 1st, 2024, the defendant enters Twisted Fisherman from the west. His face is clearly visible on the exterior cameras of the restaurant. At 5:20 p.m., Robinson enters the restaurant from the east, then approaches the bar and sits next to the defendant. The defendant and Robinson remain at the bar eating and having drinks together until they leave the restaurant around 6:24 p.m. They both leave towards the east, which is the direction Robinson arrived from. Robinson is still wearing a black puffy coat, a white shirt, light colored blue jeans, multiple tiers in front, white shoes, and she is carrying a dark grayish-brown purse. The defendant is wearing his hair in a ponytail, a red flannel coat with a gray hood, and a black t-shirt with Carhartt written in white across the chest, as well as dark jeans. There are no cameras at Twisted Fisherman that depict the parking lot. Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12, 2024, page 4 of 10. Page 5. Detective Guillot, when recovering the video, spoke to the owner of the restaurant RD, who stated that he knew the defendant as an ex-employee. Detective Guillot also spoke to JR, one of the managers of the Twisted Fisherman. JR viewed the surveillance video and identified the male subject with Robinson as the defendant, who JR knew as a former employee, and further stated the defendant came in to get his W-2, consistent with the text conversation the defendant had with Robinson. Detective Guillot also spoke to BC, who was the bartender who served the defendant and Robinson. BC stated the defendant initially came in and indicated he was picking up his W-2, but then informed BC that he was staying at the Twisted Fisherman to meet a female for a first date. BC knew the defendant as a former employee. BC stated that Robinson arrived and sat with the defendant, and they appeared to have casual conversation before leaving together. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Brian Conti conducted an interview on April 3, 2024, with ASF, who identified herself as a friend of Robinson. ASF indicated to Detective Conti that she became aware Robinson was missing by seeing it on the news. ASF stated that after she learned Robinson was missing, she accessed Robinson's Life 360 app on her cell phone. Complainant knows Life 360 is an application that provides location-based services and allows users/subscribers to share their locations with others. ASF stated that upon checking Life 360, she observed that Robinson's phone appeared to be in Warnemont Park around 4:33 a.m. on April 2, 2024. Complainant knows investigators received Life 360 records from ASF as well as Robinson's mother, SLS. The Life 360 accounts belonging to Robinson also is linked to her phone number mentioned above. Complainant has reviewed the information from Life 360 and summarizes the location of Robinson's phone as follows. The times indicated below are in military time. 1. April 1st, 2024, 1705 to 1829 hours, 1 hour, 24 minutes, near 1126 W. Canal Street 2. April 1st, 2024, 1829 to 1835 hours. The device traveled from the area of 595 West Clybourne Street to 1137 N, Water Street. Twisted Fisherman to the area of Dukes on Water. 3. April 1st, 2024, 1904 to 2106 hours, 2 hours, 1 minute, near 1215 N, Water Street, near Dukes on Water. 4. April 1st, 2024, 2,106 to 2,128 hours. The device traveled from the area of 1215N Water Street to is in the area of S 40th and West Oklahoma Avenue. Dukes on Water to area of Anderson's residence, 3161 South 39th Street, 5. April 1st, 2024 and April 2nd, 2024, 2128 to 0048 hours, 3 hours, 19 minutes, near South 40th Street and West Oklahoma Avenue 6. April 2nd, 2024, 00048 to 0138 hours. The device traveled from South 40th Street and West Oklahoma Avenue to 3335N, Gordon Place, from the area of Anderson's residence. 3161 South 39th Street northbound and eastbound to a roadway adjacent to Pleasant Valley Park near Kern Park on the Milwaukee River in Milwaukee's River West neighborhood. 7. April 2nd, 2024, 0138 to 0201 hours, 23 minutes, near 3335N, Gordon Place. 8. April 2nd, 2024, 0201 to 0253 hours. The device traveled from 3829 and Humboldt Boulevard to 5252 S, Lake Drive, an area where Humboldt Boulevard is adjacent to the Milwaukee River. Going to Warnemont Park, which is the area where the leg was found, 9. April 2nd, 2024, 0324 to 0435 hours. The device was stationary in the stretch of Warnemont Park that encompasses the location where the leg was discovered, 10. April 2nd, 2024, 0324 to 0435 hours, 1 hour, 11 minutes, near 5152 S, Sheridan Drive 11. April 2nd, 2024, 0435 hours. Life 360 notes the battery of the device has died. Complainant states that on April 4th, 2024, investigators with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant on the defendant's residence at 3161 South 39th Street in Milwaukee. During page 6. The execution of that search warrant, identifiers for the defendant were located, including packages addressed to the defendant. Additionally, blood was located on bedding in one of the bedrooms and on the walls leading towards the basement. Several gasoline containers were located in the garage/storage area. Furthermore, complainant knows that the Verizon records for Robinson's phone number, which included call detail records and location information of the phone, were analyzed by investigators. The records, consistent with the Life 360 information described above, show Robinson's device in the area of Twisted Fisherman when Robinson is with the defendant at that location. Additionally, the records show the device moved to the area of Dukes on Water at approximately 6:30 p.m. and around 9:20 p.m. The device is in the area of the defendant's residence at 3161 South 39th Street. Complainant knows that Milwaukee Police Detective Jake Pushnig reviewed poll camera video footage in the area of Dukes on Water. That footage shows Robinson's Honda Civic arrive at 6:33 p.m. and at 6:34 p.m., Robinson exits the driver's door and the defendant exits the front passenger's door. The two of them then walk across the street and eventually walk in the direction of Dukes on Water. Detective Pushnig also reviewed video footage from Dukes on Water, which depicts the defendant and Robinson hanging out at Dukes on Water. The poll camera video then shows Robinson and the defendant return to Robinson's vehicle and drive away at 9:04 p.m. After that, the phone records show the following. 1. Robinson's phone remains in the area of Anderson's residence until about 12:45 a.m. on April 2nd ND, 2024, then between 12:45 a.m. and 1 a.m. The device appears to travel northbound and eastbound towards the direction of downtown Milwaukee. 2. From 1 a.m. to approximately 1:15 a.m., the phone is in the area of downtown Milwaukee, including the area of Robinson's apartment. Before heading northbound consistent with traveling into the River West neighborhood between 1:15 a.m. and 1:30 a.m., it should be noted that between these records and the Life 360 location information, The phone does not appear to be stationary in this time frame. Complainant further notes that Detective Blancar reviewed video footage from Robinson's apartment. Complex and confirmed Robinson did not return to her apartment at any point after being at the defendant's residence on April 1st, 2024. 3. By approximately 1:33 a.m., the phone travels north towards the area of Pleasant Valley Park. Near N, Humboldt Boulevard and East Keefe Avenue, just south of Capitol Drive, where it remains until approximately 2 a.m. 4. From 2 a.m. to approximately 2:10 a.m., the phone appears to travel westbound, consistent with being on or near Capitol Drive as it moves west. 5. From 2:12 a.m. to approximately 2:20 a.m., the phone moves back eastbound in the area of Capitol Drive. 6. From 2:20 a.m. to 2:30 a.m., the phone appears to travel southbound consistent with traveling on Interstate 43. 7. From 2:30 a.m. to 2:35 a.m., the phone moves westbound, appearing to travel consistent with Interstate 41/Interstate 894 towards Greenfield. 8. From 2:35 a.m. to 2:45 a.m., the phone moves back eastbound and then southbound consistent with traveling on Interstate 41/Interstate 94 and then traveling eastbound in the area of College Avenue. In the direction of Warnemont Park. 9. From 2:45 a.m. to 3 a.m., the phone appears to be east of the airport in the area of Cudahy and South Milwaukee. 10. The phone then remains in the area of Warnemont Park between 3 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. 11. From 4:30 a.m. to 4:40 a.m., the phone begins to move northbound towards St. Francis and then has a final cell tower location record around 4:40 a.m. in the area of East Howard Avenue and WI 794, consistent with the location where Life 360 indicates the battery of the phone died. Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12, 2024, page 6 of 10. Page 7. Discovery of human remains near 31st and Galena Street. On Saturday, April 6, 2024, members of the Milwaukee Police Department began to canvass the area near where Robinson's Honda Civic was set on fire. While searching the area of the 31st and Galena Playground, 3100 West Galena Street, Milwaukee Police Detective Cassandra Lindert located a human foot in the wooded area adjacent to the train tracks that border the playground to the east. Investigators located, in addition to the foot, another piece of what appeared to be human flesh in the same area. Complainant has observed the recovered foot as well as the leg recovered at Warnemont Park and observed they appeared to be from the same individual, particularly due to skin tone, size, and having matching pink nail polish. The location of where these remains were discovered was approximately 1 block south of where Robinson's car was set on fire. Members of the Milwaukee Police Department attempted to locate video footage regarding either the disposal of the human remains or footage related to the arson of Robinson's car. Detective Ryan Bergman obtained video from the Milwaukee County Transit System, MCTS, bus traveling westbound on Lisbon Avenue, MCTS Route 57. The video footage depicts the following. The bus stops on the corner of 29th and Lisbon Avenue at 7:29 a.m., facing westbound, in the direction of where Robinson's car was set on fire. 2 subjects can be seen walking westbound on the north side of Lisbon Avenue, passing Lisbon Liquor and Food Mart. One of these subjects is wearing a blue coat, and the other subject is holding a black and white umbrella. The bus begins to drive forward towards 30th Street, at which time the person in the blue coat appears to be checking something out to the north, at which time a different subject can be seen walking through the grass lot towards Lisbon Avenue. The subject is walking away from a fire that is beginning to burn in the parking slab behind the building at the corner of 30th and Lisbon. As the transit bus passes the person walking away from the fire, you can see this individual appears to be a white male and is wearing dark pants, a dark gray hooded top, carrying a tan-colored backpack with tan straps that appears to be full. As the bus continues to drive westbound on Lisbon Avenue, the burning of Robinson's vehicle is clearly visible. As the bus continues to pass, the subject with the tan backpack can be seen starting to cross Lisbon Avenue, southbound. Milwaukee Police Detective Andrew Marks recovered video footage from Lisbon Liquor and Food Mart. That footage depicts the subject in the blue jacket and the subject with the umbrella walking westbound on Lisbon Avenue. Upon reaching the vacant lot next to the liquor store, both subjects appear to slow down, at which time the with the tan backpack begins to walk across Lisbon, southbound on 30th Street. The person in the blue jacket then appears to be in shock and begins pointing at the person in the tan backpack as he walks away. The subject in the blue jacket then tries to flag down cars passing by and can be heard on the video yelling. He did that while pointing across the street to the person with the tan backpack. The subject in the blue jacket also begins yelling for someone to call the fire department. Investigators were eventually able to identify the subject in the blue jacket as LAD. Detective Vincent Lopez and Detective Thaddeus Schimmels interviewed LAD, who stated the following. LAD was walking down Lisbon Avenue with her friend and saw a white male exit the driver's door of Robinson's Honda Civic. She then observed the white male light a lighter and toss it into the driver's door window of the Honda, then begin walking in Lad's direction, and last saw this white male walking westbound on Walnut Street from 30th Street. Detectives then saturated the area to recover any surveillance footage that would capture where the subject with the tan backpack walked towards after setting Robinson's car on fire. Through that video canvas, detectives learned the subject with the tan backpack walked westbound towards North 35th Street and then eventually got onto a Milwaukee County Transit System bus at 8:12 a.m. to head southbound on North 35th Street, which is the direction towards the defendant's residence. The video from Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12, 2024, page 7 of 10. Page 8. That MCTS bus captured the face of that subject as he boarded and remained on the bus, and through that footage, complainant has reviewed the defendant's booking photo related to his arrest on April 4, 2024, described below. Complainant is able to identify that subject as the defendant, Maxwell S. Anderson. It should be noted that the footage from the bus shows the defendant wearing the exact clothing depicted on the subject fleeing the scene of the vehicle arson, including the large tan backpack with tan straps. A depiction of the defendant's booking photo with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office and the defendant on the MCTS bus is depicted below. Detective Ryan Bergman reviewed the MCTS video showing the defendant on the MCTS bus. The defendant boards the bus and pays his bus fare in cash. He then rides that MCTS bus south on 35th Street and gets off the bus at approximately 8:35 a.m. near South 35th Street and West Lakefield Drive on Milwaukee's south side. It should be noted there is not a bus stop at this location, and the defendant asked the bus driver to let him off there. The defendant then departs the bus and begins to walk northbound. It should further be noted it is approximately an 8-minute walk from that location to the defendant's residence, and this would be the most logical place to depart the bus to walk to the defendant's home. Complainant reviewed surveillance video affixed to a residence across the street from the defendant's residence, 3161 South 39th Street, which was recovered by Milwaukee Police Detective Rachel Smith. This video footage depicts South 39th Street and the front of the defendant's residence, as well as part of the south side of his residence. There is a front gate on the south side of the residence, and over that gate the rear gate near the alley is also visible. The defendant can be seen arriving through his back gate that is accessible through the alley behind his house at 8:43 a.m. The arrival at this time is consistent with him having walked to that location from departing the bus. Complainant notes that the defendant's dark hooded top and tan backpack that appears full are visible in this video. Complainant knows that Robinson's vehicle was ultimately towed from the location where the defendant set it on fire, and it was searched by Detective Alexis Kruzik of the Milwaukee County. Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12, 2024, page 8 of 10. Page 9. Sheriff's Office and by members of the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. During the search of that vehicle, located in the trunk was clothing that Robinson was wearing on the evening of April 1, 2024, namely the black puffer coat, light blue ripped jeans, and white shoes, along with her dark grayish-brown purse. These items were found in the trunk of the vehicle and were partially fire damaged, although undamaged enough to identify them as the items Robinson was wearing. Also recovered was a remnant of an iPhone, consistent with the type of iPhone Robinson was known to have. Detective Rachel Smith reviewed additional surveillance video footage from the residence across the street from the defendant's residence. Her review of that footage revealed the following. At around 9:24 p.m. on April 1st, 2024, there is motion near the back gate of the defendant's property, which appears to swing open. And shadows consistent with two human figures enter the backyard of the defendant's residence, and at 9:26 p.m., the living room light in the front of the defendant's residence, the upper unit, turns on. This would be consistent with the time that Robinson's phone appears to have arrived at the defendant's residence, as described above, and would be consistent with Robinson and Anderson arriving at his residence together. At approximately 11:25 p.m. on April 1st, 2024, there is human movement in the backyard again. This movement continues on and off until approximately 12:45 a.m. on April 2nd, 2024. This is consistent with the time when Robinson's phone appears to depart from Anderson's residence and begins to travel around the city of Milwaukee before eventually ending up apparently stationary near Warnemont Park, where the severed leg was recovered. As described above, Robinson's phone does not appear to depart from Anderson's residence between the arrival around 9:24 p.m. on April 1st until around 12:50 a.m. on April 2nd. Detective Smith also recovered surveillance video from 3174 South 40th Street that depicts the alley. This video does not depict the defendant's residence, but it depicts the alley that connects to the defendant's residence. Detective Smith reviewed that video, which shows Robinson's vehicle leaving the alley southbound at 12:47 a.m. on April 2nd, 2024. Detective Smith also recovered video footage from a camera that depicts the intersection of South 35th Street and West Greenfield Avenue, which is to the north of the defendant's residence. That video footage depicts Robinson's vehicle heading northbound on 35th Street at approximately 12:53 a.m. on April 2nd, 2024. This movement is consistent with the location of Robinson's phone, as described above. Complainant knows that on April 4th, 2024, at around 1:16 a.m., MCSO detectives Joseph Blancar and John Guillot conducted a traffic stop of a black Hyundai Santa Fe with license plate AMR 8083, which listed in Department of Transportation records to the defendant. The defendant was stopped near South 38th Street and West Lakefield Drive, just a few blocks from his residence. The defendant was arrested at that time. A search of the defendant's vehicle led to the recovery of a zip-up hooded coat that appears to be the same coat the defendant is wearing in the still frame depicted above. Complainant further states, based on preliminary analysis done by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab, that a pseudo-standard of Sade C. Robinson was compared to a blood standard from the human leg recovered from Warnemont Park, and the DNA analysis supports the preliminary conclusion that the leg belongs to Sade C. Robinson. Complainant further states that since the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office and Milwaukee Police Department began the investigation into the severed leg recovered from Warnemont Park, as well as the missing person investigation related to Sade C. Robinson, no one from her family nor her friends have heard from Robinson, and the last contact anyone has had with her was April 1st, 2024. No one has had contact with Robinson since she was with the defendant on the night of April 1st into April 2nd, 2024. Based on the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Robinson, as described in this. Case 2024 CF 001692 Document 2 filed April 12th, 2024, page 9 of 10. Page 10. Complaint and the recovery of the human leg that was preliminarily identified as Robinson's. Complainant concludes Robinson is deceased. The facts mentioned in this complaint cause complainant to conclude that the defendant intentionally killed and then dismembered Robinson with the intent to conceal the homicide, and it occurred between the arrival at the defendant's residence and his departure from the Warnemont Park area. End of complaint.
I don't know how you guys are feeling right now, but when I finished reading that complaint, I was like, this is enough evidence right now to send him straight to jail forever. Like, I don't know if they have the death penalty up there. They probably don't, because most states have gotten away from it. But I mean, he deserves it if he's found guilty of this, in my opinion. But that complaint, I see why it took, you saw how in articles, it took them a while, and, you know, they had to get an extension on holding him and all of that. After I saw the complaint that they was working on, I was like, I get it. They were trying to get this right. There was so much evidence, so many dots to connect. And I think they did a great job just in the complaint. So comment below if you guys like finished the complaint and got something to say, because there should be plenty to say. I mean, I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, this is a great time to remind you guys, as you can see on your screen, the best way to support this channel, support the work that I do, please, is to hit the thumbs up button to like the video, click to subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If you do that, it will let you know as soon as I upload new content to this channel. Okay, let's continue on. So the next thing that I wanted to get into is just talking about the charges. There's 3 charges. One of them being arson of property other than building. Whoever by means of fire intentionally damages any property of another without the person's consent, if the property is not a building and has a value of $100 or more, is guilty of a class, I don't know if that's 1 or class I felony. The second charge, mutilating a corpse. Whoever mutilates, disfigures, or dismembers a corpse with intent to conceal a crime or avoid apprehension, prosecution, or conviction for a crime is guilty of a Class F felony. And finally, first-degree intentional homicide. Whoever causes the death of another human being with intent to kill that person or another is guilty of a Class A felony.
And we begin with that gruesome and bizarre investigation. Law enforcement out searching again today, the same area where human body parts were found. This all started last Tuesday when a leg was found near Warnemont Golf Course. On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 more body parts all found, 2 of them near 30th and Lisbon, another near 31st and Galena. 30th and Lisbon is where the family of 19-year-old Sade Robinson says her car was found burned out just days before those body parts started turning up. However, investigators are not linking Robinson's disappearance to those body parts. Megan Lee joins us now. I know you were in the area around 31st and Galena for much of the morning. What do you see and hear from police?
Yeah, Steve, I saw at least a dozen investigators here at 31st and Galena for a few hours this morning. They were down searching on the railroad tracks as well as a wooded area that's next to me, and then around the corner at the play structure. This comes after our team was out here last night after human remains were found, and I did confirm with MPD today that they were out today searching for more evidence. The Milwaukee Police Department investigated the area near the railroad tracks at 31st and Galena, not once but twice in the past 24 hours.
It's scary. It's beyond scary.
MPD says human remains were found here Sunday evening. Sonia Dantzler is searching the area alongside Sade Robinson's family. The teen girl has been missing since early last week.
I'm out here because I'm concerned about the young lady that's missing, and concerned because the police is finding body parts.
Police have not connected the body parts to the disappearance of Robinson.
If it's not her, I'm just concerned, and out here I want to know what's going on.
This comes after a leg was found in Cudahy on April 2nd, and a body part and human remains were found on Milwaukee's north side near 30th and Lisbon on April 5th and 6th.
After a weekend full of police investigations looking into body parts,
What's going on through your head this Monday morning as we're here again?
Well, to be honest, I've been kind of restless this whole weekend because it's on my mind too heavy.
The feeling of a heavy mind and heart is shared with Mary Duran, who walks by the home near 39th in Oklahoma frequently.
Just sadness. This poor victim. My heart.
The man who owns this duplex was connected to the severed leg found in Cudahy.
We're unnerved. What is happening?
Investigators haven't connected the severed leg to the other body parts found in Milwaukee. However, Duran is pleading for answers.
Come on, Milwaukee. We deserve more. Right now we're all speculating, and that seems wrong to me. We need to know. We need to know.
Our team did reach out to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office as well as the Milwaukee Police Department and city leaders for comment on these investigations, but so far we have not received any clear answers. However, we do know, according to booking records, the person of interest in the severed leg investigation is due in court tomorrow morning. Live in Milwaukee, Megan Lee, TMJ4 News.
And we'll see if that court date holds. Megan Lee, thank you.
When we see how much work the family was doing, I saw someone comment, and it may have been one of the ones that I clipped for the Comments Café, but it was a good point, which is how much work the family was doing to find Sade's pieces. Terrible thing to think about. But they were out there and they was doing a lot of work. And I know I remember reading an article about the mother's frustration with police and news and media and how little coverage this case was getting. And I didn't hear about it. I don't know how it came up on my feed. Probably because I follow true crime channels. But this has been an ongoing problem in America, is women of color, minorities not getting the same attention as cases like the Gabby Petito and other people who are shades lighter, fair complexion, just taking the news stories, like taking that space and not trying to allow these stories to also be heard. But let me say that the police, and maybe I don't know which one it is, and that's something, I probably should have saved for my reflections, but I wasn't sure. There was a lot of things. I'm not going to get into it here. No, I'll save that for later. Let's go ahead now and listen to, I want to stay in the order that I said that I will be working in, which is, let's take a listen to what Sade Robinson's mother had to say. And I believe this is also Sade's uncle. Let's take a look at that.
Sick son of a hurt my baby. This sick son of a is gonna pay. This is justice for Sade. Who the would do something like this to my beautiful baby? She hurt nobody. She harmed nobody. I hate this. And so when he's in inside, I want you to rape and torture that like till I get to and hunt him eternally. Torture that and rape him in the population till I can get to him and hunt the shit out of him. Justice for Sade. Justice will be served for my baby. Justice.
I got one thing to say, and this is gonna be it. Sade was more than a person. She was an angel. Not having her right now is very painful. We need justice for Sade. Me and my family will never be okay. My sister and parents won't stop shaking, and it ain't because they're nervous. Imagine trying to bury your niece with no body for the service. I need justice for Sade. I have nothing more to say. Your name, sir?
I can understand. I completely understand her anger, her hurt. I'm surprised we don't see this more often. I mean, when reporters put a microphone in front of the face of a grieving parent who has so grotesquely, unfairly lost a child, a teenager, to some sicko in our Crimisphere that I don't even understand like why he went to such lengths to try to cover this up, because there was so many trails that led back to him. He was texting her. He went to a restaurant that he used to work at. And it sounded like he just recently lost the job there because he's collecting a W-2 from that place. So it had to be fairly recent, within this year, last year or something like that he worked at this place. So people recognize you, and you were the last person with her. That's why it almost seemed like a panic crime to me. In my opinion, this sounds like, or seems to me like, a panic crime. Not that that should lessen his punishment, but it's just so sloppy. It's so not thought out that I'm going to retract what I said earlier about a serial killer. No, this is so sloppy that I see why. I mean, I had to think about it and reflect on it, but I see why cops are saying, no, I don't think he's done anything else. Because, I mean, mind you, I wouldn't sleep on him though. They definitely need to take a look at that backyard. Speaking of which, I appreciate the neighbors out here, my earth neighbors, who I don't know where these came from. I saw these pictures online and they say that this depicts the backyard of that house where they believe that Sade lost her life. And if you look at it, it looks under construction or something, a renovation. And I just appreciate the angle because it looked like the neighbors took those pictures. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I'm that type of neighbor. I was just like, yes, get those pictures for the public to see what the heck is going on over there. But I hope they dig up that whole yard. They look in the walls. They tear that house apart. And you know, another thing that bothered me, since I'm going to go ahead and get into my reflections, or I have a little outline here. It's not in any particular order, so you will have to bear with me as I ponder through these bullet points that I have on here of things I want to talk about. And one of the things that bothered me was when I kept seeing images from the media, from news reports. Where are the dogs at? We have a situation where they've said that there are body parts. They have cadaver dogs. Why did I not see any cadaver dogs on those searches with the police? Strange. Because I'm like, rather than all of these humans, I don't care how many cops you have out there, they will never, ever have anything on a cadaver dog with the nose and smelling abilities of a dog. So why wouldn't they have, like, I mean, every cadaver dog they could find in Wisconsin be dispatched to this situation so we can find all of her parts and, you know, let her rest in peace and give her back to her family so that they can have a proper sending off for her. And when I say proper, I don't mean that it's going to be like, you know, what it should be, but she should be laid to rest with, you know, intact. Let's just say it that way. Okay, so let me go through my bullet points and try to touch on some of these topics as quickly as possible. Sade is underage and can't drink. Okay, so that's what I wrote down. I don't understand. And you know, once you become an adult, I really don't have a whole lot to say about people having relationships with people that there are large age gaps. But this particular case highlights something to me that I think is a red flag, at least a yellow flag, which is why you can't find anybody your age, 33-year-old Mr. Thriller. Y'all know what I'm not saying. Mr. Unaliver. Why are you not seeing women your own age? And there's probably a reason for that. And I think that some of those past misdemeanors may speak to why. He has people problems. He has a problem with people. Did he offer her something? I had that question in my mind. Was there some kind of, why did she go back to his house? And I am not into victim blaming or shaming or anything of the sort. But if we are to learn anything about or from this case, it is, do not go to anybody's house that you do not know. You don't know what kind of trap you're going to run into. And by the way, there were reports, and I'm not sure if I got or captured the articles that spoke to this, but many sources, news sources, kept asking the police, and the police refused to comment on it, that there is supposed to be some kind of sex dungeon in his basement. I don't know if that's just a rumor. So like I said, this is all alleged at this point, but more than one reporter posed a question about discussions in the Crimisphere of there being a sex dungeon found in that basement. And if that's the case, then I would assume that perhaps this guy was setting himself up to be a sexual predator of some sort. And I hope that they run him through the system to find out if there are potentially other victims. I don't know why I put Peter Griffin personified. Maybe he reminds me of Peter Griffin. Anyway, I spoke about stranger danger and ways that we should probably be, doing background checks, having something to protect yourself if you should get into it. Another thing to bring up, though, is having open drinks around strangers. I wondered if she was drugged. I heard one person, which I saw one person who was covering this story, and they said something about, I don't know, I can't remember how they put it, but long story short is, it was something to the extent, I'm trying to jog my brain. I can't remember. Okay. So I know there was something about the stranger danger, and, someone had made a comment about self-esteem and, first date rules, and, the people who were critics of her decision to even date him in the first place or see him. Now, I'm not getting into too much. I think I'll save that for responding to some of the Comments Café, some of the comments from that, which is those anti-interracial dating people. I don't think they deserve too much attention or space. People can date who they want. I don't think that we don't know or haven't seen any evidence that this is, even though they have different races, we don't know that this was race motivated. This could have been a sex crime. This could have been just a sicko who wanted to know what it was like to kill somebody. I want to wait until we know about his Google searches, his searches. We want to have his computer, his cell phone, all of the things searched, and find out what was his relationship, what were his ideologies. All of that stuff has yet to be surfaced, to come to light. So I don't want to rush to that kind of, let's just say, easy narrative about this being racially motivated, even though I have watched others cover this in that kind of light and narrative. Monday morning coaches, which is people who are like, oh, she shouldn't have went on the first date, went to his house, went back to his house. It was like 9 something at night. And mind you, she is 19 years old. And I think that she made a mistake. I personally, this story made me think about when I have gone back to a stranger's house that I didn't know, and it would have been under the same circumstance, which is it was a first meeting. And thank God I obviously am here to talk about it. Nothing went left about I don't know if I've done, I could think of one time that happened. But it was because I didn't see it as a date. Even though this person had cooked me a meal, I'm even thinking about the potential of being drugged under such circumstances. I had something to drink there. I had something to eat there. And I'm like, thank God this person was not up to any kind of nefarious stuff. But it is one of those things where you're like, oh my God, it's just terrible that we have to send young ladies and men out into the world like we're in some kind of military, or I don't know. It's just enough to cause just a regular person some PTSD, because you're just like, oh my God, is this the type of world we live in? But it is. Unfortunately, it is. Okay, so let me move on to the next point. There was an article I read where it was discussed that Sheena, I believe is the name of her mom's name, Scarborough, that her and Sade's father co-parented her. And I believe they said the father, Carlos, I can't remember the last name, maybe Robinson, maybe, I don't remember. But they're co-parenting, they had co-parented Sade. And I don't think that that's really relevant to this situation, because Sade being 19, and I believe her mom said that her birthday would have been on May 10th. So she was going on 20 years old. This is a person who had plans to possibly join the military and was a month short, I believe they said, of having her associate's degree in criminal justice of some sort, some kind of degree like that. So this is an adult technically, but still, when I hear teen, this is an inexperienced young lady. So I don't see why that came up in the article. Maybe the mom just voluntarily gave it. I don't know. But I hate when they try to, let's say, put that kind of a picture on, like this has anything to do with being unfortunate and running into a killer. I mean, that could happen to anybody if you just happen to stumble across become the target of a crazy person. So I don't remember which article it was, but I do have my sources in the description, and hopefully one of them is where I read that, because I just remember it was definitely an article that I read. I thought it was kind of ironic that she was a criminal justice major in light of what happened to her. And I was just like, life can take a crazy, crazy twist. And I just thought that was very wild. And it also made me wonder if perhaps that was one of the reasons why, maybe if he had possibly attacked her or sexually assaulted her or did something to her, that he knew he had to not let her get away alive, because with her being a criminal justice major, it would have probably not worked out very well if she were alive to tell the story. I already spoke about how I believe that sometimes our society sets us up by giving us some very delusional ideals about, some presumption of safety or some presumption of equality amongst two people that are physically very different in strength and abilities, meaning male and females. I would, let's say, beg everybody to really think about that in a more realistic way and adjust accordingly so that you can keep yourself safe and or prepared to possibly fight or flee. I also wonder if perhaps if she was taken at gunpoint. Some people made the assumption or leapt to the conclusion that she went to his house willingly. Yes, I believe they said that she was seen on video. I want to say from the complaint that they said that there was video of two figures going into the house around 9:24, something like that. Because I believe the window was a little bit over 3 hours. About 3 hours. Because basically, if I'm following the complaint correctly, both of them get to his house at 9:24 p.m. and she never comes. We never see her on that video that captured movement in his backyard. You never see her again. Therefore, it's concluded that she's killed and dismembered in the house by 12:50 a.m. on April the 2nd. And that's when we start seeing him moving, and her car, her cell phone, stuff like that. So he's moving her pieces and trying to dispose of the crime of what he's done by 12:50 a.m. if I recall correctly from that complaint. So it made me wonder, or I question, did she go back there willingly? Was there something that she was lured there? Let me get this, or let me show you this, or let me give you this, or, And then I also always, question whether or not would a 19-year-old Was there some kind of lure of drugs or lure of sex or lure of something that could get her possibly in a predicament that she couldn't get out of. I spoke already about the red flags and warning signs. I already asked if he's a serial killer. Is this a hate crime, one that is related to either for race or for sex? I don't know. I think I'm just going to guess that he probably put the part of her body where her vagina is. I would probably guess that if this is a crime that is related to a sex crime, that he threw it in water of some sort or burned her or destroyed it so that we would never know. Police would never know if he sexually assaulted her. I would guess that he did something of the sort. But I don't know. This is just all speculation and, let's say, conspiracy theory right now of just me guessing. I already said that I want them to investigate his social media, his searches, his friends, where he posts things. I thought that it was sick and extra demented and depraved that he would send police on a cruel scavenger hunt for her body parts. I just want to put that out there about the disgusting aspect, disrespectful aspect of doing that. And then some of these pieces and parts were found near where children play, and I think there was pieces found not far from her burned car, torched car. Another thing I want to talk about is that there was a witness. It sounds like it was a female from what I got. I mean, we only got the initials in the complaint, but when you listen to that, it read like a horror, like hearing somebody read a horror book or something, a novel. Because when that moment when that witness saw him light that torch and torch the car, and then he walking toward her, I was just like, oh my God. I was getting nervous just listening. And obviously she's able to report to police, so she's okay. But I love that bold moment when she was like, he did that. The quote they have in there that the witness yelled out loud, he did that. You know what I mean? I was like, yes, these are my kind of earth neighbors. I love whoever that is. Sending love to you for doing your civic duty. It was just a powerful moment that Sade needed, we just needed that. I don't know. It just gave me life to hear that. But I was scared for her in that moment because I was just like, how if you see somebody do something, they may be like, oh, she's a witness. Now I got to kill her too. I was just like, oh my God, that scared me. I spoke about the trickery of reduced cases and how if we're trying to do our due diligence and do background checks on people, when they change what people's original crimes were and kind of put them in this kind of seal or veil them under lesser charges, it's very deceptive to us as a community that the system is allowed to do that. I spoke about the potential of a civil lawsuit. I saw some people talking about what him possibly coming from some affluence and having some, wealth, but I'm not really sure what that means. Even though, let me skip down to this part, another raw part where the mom is doing what I think everybody wants to do, but they're afraid of the judge and, possibly being found in contempt of court. But there was a part where the defense attorney for the defendant is talking and the mom yells out in court, shut the fuck up. And I was like, I get it, ma'am. I get it. More people probably want to say that and worse. Because if somebody did that to my family member, I'm telling you, I'll be probably one of those people leaping across benches and over tables and knocking over lawyers trying to get to him. So I get it. That's all I can say. Now, mind you, not to be overly critical, but it did stand out to me. So I just got to say it. But I didn't understand why Uncle was rhyming. Why was this a poem, Uncle? when he was talking to the media, he was rhyming. I was like, are you rapping? Are you rhyming? Is this poetry or is this a rap? But that was odd. But, you know, this is an odd moment. So did anybody else notice that? I'm like, why are you rhyming? Like, why are you trying to sound like Dr. Seuss and your niece just got whatever. Okay. Another one is not enough has been said about the things that Sade did right. She did a lot of things right. For example, she had the Life 360 app, which I never heard of. So because of Sade, I downloaded the app. Now, I don't know what that means because I told my family about this case. I have nieces that are Sade's age, around that age. And I told them about this app. We have a group text with my family. And I told everybody about it. I got on the app, signed myself up and all of that. Do you know none of my family got on with me? I guess they don't care if I get cut up. They don't care if I come up missing, I guess. Anyway, I hope your family cares more about you and you guys are using this kind of technology because apparently mine don't care if I come up missing. So whatever. I was so offended because I literally didn't even get anybody to respond like, yeah, I'm going to join, or, oh yeah, we should probably do that. Okay. I'm the only one who seems to care. Whatever. But yeah, so she did that right because it was her friend. It was so many people who stepped up and advocated for her. Even when I think about that friend that she used to work at the pizzeria with, that pizza shuttle, I think it's what it's called. But her coworker's mom, it was her friend. There was such cute pictures of them together and videos on Facebook I saw. And I was just like, oh, it just hurts my heart that 19 and you're already like just off this earth. Like this was such a short experience for her. And it's just not fair. That's the injustice that infuriates me. It really does. I can't even put it in words how much that aspect of somebody taking something like that, taking your experience away. Oh, I just, even the death penalty would not give me a feeling of this just being righted somehow in the world. Anyway, so she did that right because it was her friend who was able to tell police so quickly about where she was last seen, the fact that she had made it to this house, and all of that activity was in the complaint. It was in the 10-page complaint. So she did things right. She told people at her apartment complex that she was looking forward to this date. I'm so sad for her that she didn't know that she had met the last face she would see. I hate that his face is the last face she ever saw. That bothers me. But long story short is that she told people. She did what we tell people to do. Let somebody know that you're going to be out with somebody. You're going on a first date. You're out with a stranger. She did all of those things. So I just want to say that not enough is being said about that because I've heard a lot of people, trying to be a Monday morning quarterback or whatever they call it, Monday morning coach, and saying that she should have never been at his house, that it was the first day. She should have never went back to his house, blah, 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 blah. But I personally feel like she did do a lot of things right. Yes, I agree that, in hindsight, being 2020, that I wish she had never went to his house. And I hope that other girls will take this as a signpost. Do not go to somebody's house. Like I said, if you haven't did a background check. But again, this guy had misdemeanors in his background, no felonies. And who would have known that he was capable of this? His family's probably, I would love to know his family, we won't hear that. We'll probably never hear that. But I would love to be a fly on the wall in his house with his parents or his siblings and know what they are saying right now. Because sometimes people know that a person is capable of this and we will never hear about it. The other part is, and I'm nearing the end of my little bullet points, y'all, which is what's happening in certain quote unquote households that continue to produce such depraved types of children or the types of human beings. Nobody really talks about that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when under Dan Quayle, they were talking about single parent households being the reason why we have crime in America. I hear people trying to make it seem like a certain ethnic group is the reason why America's not great. or whatever. But nobody really talks enough about who are these parents that raised Jeffrey Dahmer and this guy? What type of way did you raise your kids in your household that produces that? Like, I want to see the case studies on that, you know, in the psychology classes, because I want to know what they did so that we never do it. You know what I mean? And nobody really talks about that. I mean, yeah, I'm not even gonna make this. I'm just gonna stop right there. I'll stop right there. We could talk about it at the Comments Café. Okay, and last but not least is, I hate the part of how usually in these cases, by the time it makes it to court, it almost feels like the victim is on trial. They start to bring up every skeleton and bone that the victim, every secret, every, you know, drug they may have taken, drink they had, or, you know, whatever they were into, in order to make it almost seem like, oh, this person, you know, brought this on themselves. I really hate how that happens a lot of times in these kind of cases. But let's see how it goes. Will he plea? Will this go to court? Will the court televise this case? I hope they do, because I want to know. I want to know. So I'm going to just wrap up by just summarizing. I have a little bit of an outline just to kind of see how things went. April 1st, they went on a first date to a local seafood restaurant. That restaurant, I believe, is a place where he had worked at some point. She was reported critically missing, quote unquote, on Monday. April 1st, I believe. Sade went missing. Isn't that weird? That's April Fool's Day that he did this to her. Anyway, April 2nd at 30th in Lesbon, Sade's car is found torched. April 4th, Maxwell S. Anderson is arrested. April 5th, another possible body part is found in Walnut Hill neighborhood near 30th Street and West Lesbon Avenue. April 6th, police found a foot in the same area where Robinson's burned car was discovered. Based on skin complexion and matching pink nail polish, they believe the foot to belong to Sade. Remains found a few blocks away near 31st and Carleena. April 9th, judge allowed authorities an extra 72 hours to hold Maxwell Anderson. April 12th, Maxwell Anderson is criminally charged with 3 felonies. The severed leg found at Warnemount Park in Cudahy. That happened, I believe, on April the 2nd. So I got my timeline a little bit out of order. Okay. I think that's all. I'm just looking over my notes now to see if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about. I think that's it. So I am just going to just say, keep that family in your prayers. The family of Sade, Carleena Robinson. She was 19 years old. Her birthday was May 10th. She's originally from Vicksburg, Mississippi. I believe the article said that when she was not quite 2 years old, they moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She was 1 month from turning 20 years old and obtaining her criminal justice degree from Milwaukee Area Technical College. Then she was planning to go into the Air Force, potentially. Potential stolen. So, yeah. That's all I have for this one. Let's go ahead and move on to the Comments Café, where I'll see you there. Make sure to bring your coffee, your tea, your hot chocolate, and we'll wrap up with the Comments Café.
But first, that breaking news in Milwaukee's Walnut Hill neighborhood tonight at 10. Family of a missing Milwaukee woman fear that she may have been found this weekend. 19-year-old Sade Robinson went missing Monday near Commerce and Pleasant, while Milwaukee police confirming to TMJ4 last night that unidentified human remains were found near 30th and Galena. And this comes after the sheriff's office says a human body part was found late Friday night in that same area near 30th and Lisbon. Tonight, for the third night in a row, more crime scene tape is up in that neighborhood as Milwaukee police and the medical examiner's office was called back out to that area right near the railroad tracks. Kaylee Starro was there and she's joining us live in studio. Kaylee, what have you been learning tonight?
Ryan, I went back to that area near 30th and Galena tonight because we received a phone call from the family of that missing woman. 19-year-old Sade Robinson was last seen April 1st in the city's Brewers Hill neighborhood. Her cousin, Carleena Garza, tells me they returned to the neighborhood to continue their search tonight after Milwaukee police said they found unidentified human remains in the area Saturday night and a human body part on Friday night. The family focused on this area because they also tell me Robinson's car was found just a block away Tuesday morning, completely burned. Yesterday, Carleena found Robinson's blanket in the area where those unidentified human remains were discovered. And again, I saw both the police and the medical examiner responding once again tonight, but we are still waiting to hear why. Police have not linked their discoveries to Robinson's disappearance, but clearly have been very busy in this area. So today I sat down with a former chief of police to ask for his perspective on what goes into an investigation like this. A leg found in Cudahy April 2nd.
It's really a shocking crime.
3 days later and 20 miles away, the Milwaukee County Sheriff finding another body part on Milwaukee's north side near 30th and Lisbon.
Yellow tape everywhere, yellow tape running in front of my house, everything.
A day after that, Milwaukee police say they found human remains in the same area. Also the spot family of missing 19-year-old Sade Robinson says her torched car was found days earlier.
It's devastating because when we came to look for her, we weren't coming looking for body parts. We were just coming to look for her.
Robinson's cousin, Carleena Garza, called me again Sunday saying she found something else, prompting police to search the area again, the third day in a row. Police haven't said whether the multiple human body parts found this week are connected and have not linked those discoveries to the disappearance of Sade Robinson. Still, neighbors we've talked to and viewers we've heard from have many questions.
I want answers because I need to know why somebody would want to do this to her.
So I went to former West Allis Police Chief Chuck Paget. He's not related to this case, but after 27 years with the force, he's able to offer perspective.
It's not common. It's very rare, thankfully, but it has occurred.
Paget said he has many of the same questions as the rest of us.
My first thought is, are they all related, or is it coincidentally two different victims involved?
He said in cases like these, the public's patience is important.
You don't close your mind on anything. It's wide open.
He said sometimes police can be slow to release details because of the integrity of the investigation.
The officers and law enforcement don't want to provide information, not to be mean. They don't want to jeopardize any investigation.
Anxious anticipation as we wait to see what new details officials provide in the days ahead.
So my primary concern would be, who do we have out there that's maybe involved in this, and stopping that, getting as much evidence as we possibly can to prove that and lead us in that direction.
Again, tonight, police have not linked the discoveries of body parts near this area to Sade's disappearance. The family says they won't give up looking for that missing 19-year-old girl who police still have listed as critically missing tonight. Ryan.
Yeah, Kaylee, we are hoping that that family finds the closure that they deserve. And of course, we hope that Sade is found safely as well. But thank you for that update.
Now to the talk of Anderson's connection to a missing person. No names were spoken in court this morning, but the family of Sade Robinson was in the courtroom. Our Megan Lee in Cudahy now, where Robinson's friends and family are searching for new clues to her disappearance.
That's right, Steve. Family and friends of Sade Robinson just got here at Warnemont Park to continue their search efforts in the missing teen. One of those searchers is Julia Ferreira. She says her son and the missing teen are great friends. She showed me some of these pictures. I want you to take a look at your screen so you can see these photos from Pizza Shuttle. The missing teen has worked at Pizza Shuttle for 4 years now, and Ferreira tells me her son and Sade have been friends. They've leaned on each other, and she says that the Pizza Shuttle is like a family. She is urging the community to continue helping with the search efforts.
We need to bring the heart of Pizza Shuttle back home.
The heart of Pizza Shuttle, Sade Robinson, went missing on April 1st. Today, Julia Ferrero looks at photos of her son Benicio and Sade working together at the restaurant.
They vibed, they listened to music, they laughed. I mean, they talked about everything.
Julia just got back from visiting Benicio at college. She says her son is heartbroken over Sade's disappearance.
He's devastated. He's still marching on because Sade would want him to, because she would be like, nope, I don't want you to be sad. I want you to keep living your life.
Many Pizza Shuttle employees, too upset to go on camera, tell me her smiley presence is unforgettable. Julia would agree.
Always laughing, smiling, making the customers feel like welcomed and the employees welcomed, and just like always lit up the room.
Family and friends are not losing hope. They want to bring their ray of light safely back home.
She is somebody that is very special, you know, and I hope we can find some answers for her.
Sade's disappearance comes in the same week that body parts have been found in and outside of Milwaukee. I did see Sade's family in court this morning for Maxwell Anderson's first court appearance. However, authorities have not yet connected the body parts or with Sade Robinson. Live in Cudahy, Megan Lee, TMJ4 News.
Megan, thank you. As she just referred to, human remains were also found at 30th and Lisbon, just a block away from where Robinson's car was discovered. It was torched the morning after she went missing. Additional remains were found at 31st and Galena. Like Robinson's disappearance, investigators have not officially connected Anderson to any of those incidents at this time. And Susan, we did reach out to Maxwell Anderson's attorney this afternoon. He responded with an email declining to comment. Our next chance to learn more about this case is when Anderson is due back in court. Again, we expect to see him in court again within 72 hours. Susan?
Steve Shamraz, thanks so much. And through our reporting on this story, TMJ4 has learned we actually interviewed Maxwell Anderson on an unrelated topic back in 2016. This is what Maxwell Anderson looked like 8 years ago when we talked to him about banning tobacco at what was then known as Miller Park. This tells us Anderson has ties to the area for nearly a decade.
With a new turn in the case of Sade Robinson, family of the missing 19-year-old Milwaukee woman is now sharing this fundraiser for funeral expenses. Now, we've reached out to Sade's family and investigators for more information in her disappearance. Meanwhile, searchers were back out again this afternoon at Waterman Park in Cudahy, where someone discovered a human leg just last week. And for the first time, we are hearing from one of Sade's co-workers, Evelise Martinez, telling Miriam McCarr that she is now just heartbroken by this whole ordeal.
Trudging through the woods, family and friends of Sade Robinson are determined to find clues in the disappearance of the Milwaukee woman.
Well, I got off of work for her because I would do anything for her because, like I said, she didn't deserve this.
It was at Pizza Shuttle where Evelise Martinez worked alongside Sade for 3 years and says the 19-year-old was full of joy and love for her friends.
She's just a generous person in general. Like, I don't remember one day that she was, angry or upset.
Now Martinez is joining the search countless others have started over the past week.
It's devastating. You always see this stuff on the news, but you never think it'd be one of your friends.
Martinez showed me photos of her and Sade that bring her peace as the days carry on and her absence gets harder.
It brings me more to heartbreak. Like, I still can't believe this is happening. It's not easy losing someone you love, blood or not,
The mystery behind Sade's disappearance has been a nightmare for the woman's family, who now shared a GoFundMe to help with funeral costs once they are able to lay her to rest. But officials haven't released new information on the investigation. We asked Mayor Cavalier Johnson his thoughts on the case that's left the community on edge.
As this investigation continues, and it is still obviously an active investigation, I've been asked by law enforcement not to reveal anything at the moment because the investigation is still ongoing. I know that those agencies take this very, very seriously and will approach it with due diligence.
As loved ones wait to learn more, Martinez and other Pizza Shuttle employees are lifting up their friend.
She was an angel.
As they continue their search. In Cudahy, Miriam McCarr, TMJ4 News.
Well, the man arrested in connection with the Cudahy leg case remains behind bars tonight. Maxwell Anderson has not been charged. However, that could come by the end of the week. Yesterday, a court commissioner gave prosecutors 72 hours to hold Anderson while they review more evidence.
Working to learn more information about the disappearance of Sade Robinson and the possible connection to those human remains that have been found across the area over the last 10 days. Since Sade went missing, her family has been asking for donations for search efforts. Today, the GoFundMe says the money will be used for memorial expenses. So far, law enforcement has not confirmed Sade's death or connected her to the body parts that have been found or the person in custody in all this, Maxwell Anderson. Our Jenna Ray walks us through a timeline since Sade went missing.
The story begins on Monday, April 1st. That's when 19-year-old Sade Robinson was first reported missing. On Tuesday, April 2nd, family says Sade's car was found torched here near 30th and Lisbon on Milwaukee's north side. That same day,
Just really brings into question what is wrong with people. It's heinous.
a severed leg was found here at Warnemont Park in Cudahy, 11 miles from Sade's burned car. On Thursday, April 4th, our crews found Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputies searching a home on Oklahoma and 39th Street. That same day, Maxwell Anderson was taken into custody and identified as a person of interest in relation to the severed leg found in Cudahy. Now, this is where things take another disturbing turn. Friday, April 5th, sheriff's deputies found more body parts near where I'm standing at 30th and Lisbon, the same location where Sade's car was found set on fire. On Saturday, April 6th, Sade's family searched that same area and found her blanket.
It's devastating because when we came to look for her, we weren't coming looking for body parts. We were just coming to look for her.
Milwaukee police came out to search again and found even more human remains. Now it's Sunday, April 7th. Sade's family comes back to search and finds human remains yet again.
I want answers because I need to know why somebody would want to do this to her.
Let's go back to Maxwell Anderson for a second. While he has not been charged with a crime, we're naming him because of the nature of the allegations. On Tuesday, April 9th, Anderson went before a Milwaukee County judge where prosecutors asked for an extension to keep him behind bars. That extension was granted. The same night, family and friends of Sade's went back to Warnemont Park in Cudahy to search the area.
She looked out for my baby. The least I could do was look out for her mama's baby.
They say they found what they believe to be body parts, but that the sheriff's office needed to investigate further. It's now Thursday, April 11th, 11 days since Sade went missing. The sheriff's office is leading the investigation, but our phone calls and emails have gone unanswered. The DA's office confirmed charges are likely not coming today. Sade's mom tells me that once charges are filed, she plans to sit down and talk with us. I'm Jenna Ray for TMJ4 News.
Law enforcement back out this afternoon searching along the Lake Michigan shoreline at Warnemont Park in Cudahy. Again, this is the place where that severed leg was found and all this began. It's also where the family of missing Milwaukee woman Sade Robinson has been searching for clues. No word on what this group of officers were looking for.
Hold on. I found something else on my notes that I forgot to mention, which is I thought it was ironic that they went to eat at a place called Twisted Fisherman. Twisted Fisherman? I don't know. Something about that seemed ironic and scary. Then I also said that I would love to see, because they're in the complaint, they're saying that he drove her car. Okay. There was car pieces from when he hit that gate, if y'all recall. And then I also said, well, that's going to be quite telling if we see where her seat was positioned. She's 5 feet, which is shorter than the average. So he would have had to have moved that seat in order to get in that car and drive it. So even though it got torched, where that seat is positioned is going to be a huge and incriminating factor to bring up in court one day. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention really quick was GPS tracking devices. I hope that more people get, anything you can, get it on your phone, because phones can be shut off. Get an Apple tag, put it in your bra, get a tracker on your car, do whatever you have to do. They need to come up and invent tracker earrings, inserts to go into your bra or belt or underwear. I don't care. Something so that more and more people cannot just disappear like this. And mind you, this transpired pretty quickly. Like literally, she walked in the house at 9:24. She is not with us by 12:50, which is like a little over 3 hours later. So even if there was which I suspect there was a sexual crime involved in this before he killed her, I really do. It makes me just like, oh my God, it happened so quickly. You know what I mean? Because we literally know, and she's reported missing the next day. And the burned car, the severed leg is all found the next day. So I just wanted to add that. Why the fuck is a 33-year-old dating a 19-year-old anyways? My daughter just told me she has been at the bar where the guy worked a couple of times and saw him. She lives in Milwaukee. Scary to me. No one ever knows. Prayers to her family. The family did the searching. What do the police do? Jeez. This was absolutely terrifying. I am so sorry to the family. No one should have to go through this. There are evil people out there in plain sight. Google Neanderthal, he looks just like them. Yep, he thought no one would care, but he was wrong. She's stunning. Black women are silent on this one. It actually occurs more than black women promoting swirling want to admit. He looks nuts. Stop being so trusting. I'm well over 50. I think about how I used to be so trusting of everybody. I should be dead. But for some reason, I'm still here. Maybe it's to warn. Baby girls, please listen. Good people are always victimized. There's no excuse for this type of behavior, and he probably has done this before. When divesting goes wrong. Another OJ, but way worse, a narcissist. Her innocence, naivete, and good heart led to her demise. This world is so evil. No, a murdering psychopath led to her demise. The audacity to blame the victim. How dare you? I wonder how he encountered her. This is so sick. It seems that this guy assumed that no one would care about her because she is black. So many serial killers have said they choose victims they assume no one would miss. This makes my stomach sink, and I am glad her family and friends have been searching for her, which forced the police to do so also. God have mercy on those who search for her and her family.